Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back to the Batman Telltale series. So the last time we finished episode 3 and had a big twist at the end that uh, basically I think slanders Vicky Vale as much as this game has kind of slandered uh, Thomas Wayne. But I imagine the big choice and the big question certainly is, do you get to see anything if I had chosen to make out with Catwoman? And the answer is no. What happens, I looked up the video on YouTube, you can check it out yourself too, is she'll unzip her cat suit. You will see that she's wearing just a pretty normal kind of lacy black bra. That really you're only seeing her cleavage being covered anyway. So you just get this little triangle of the inside of her bra. I don't think it even shows her belly button as far as how far it zips down. They make out a little bit, and then Bruce Wayne carries Catwoman, Selena Kyle, into the bedroom and shuts the door. And you look from over the shoulder of the cat being left outside. And yeah, that was pretty much what I expected, particularly considering how in the next scene you pretty much have to see both Catwoman and Bruce Wayne in underwear, and she's not even wearing like very scantily clad or very small underwear. Uh, it's a shame, frankly. They should have done the experiment when they made the Telltale what is it? The Telltale Game of Thrones game. When they made that game, they should have been willing to take the risk and see if they could bring a new range to the type of games they make. And like the Game of Thrones game was already rated M for mature, anyways. But yeah, had they tested the waters then, they would have known whether or not to even try that scene or try that tease of a scene in the Batman game. Oddly, I guess there isn't a lot of cussing in this either, so if you told me this was actually rated T for teen, I wouldn't be super surprised. The more interesting thing I learned by watching that video, though, is yes, Two-Face would have damage on his face had I not been a better friend and tried to save him at some point. So there is a branching path visually where Two-Face at that point when he found you in your underwear with Catwoman, regardless of whether you slept with her or not, in my choice, I didn't. His face would be damaged, and he would have kind of a fake face mask. And I wouldn't be surprised if this image changes to reflect that. We probably don't need to cover much else. I can't help but just assume, though, that visual changes are about all that happens. The actions were the exact same, whether or not Harvey Dent had his face damaged or not. And I would say both episode 3 and episode 4 kind of are heavily written to involve Bruce Wayne and Batman very little from the looks of it, which honestly just kind of makes it feel like this could have easily been a 3-episode game. Arguably, I also would have loved to see somebody try to make a game somewhat like this, where it was closer to an hour-long episodes and the stories were completely separate. Even if you were just straight up like copying the dialogue and storylines of Batman 66 and just reanimating it, that might have some slight appeal. Instead of trying to have a canonical overarching season of 5 episodes, which most games would have a canonical overarching storyline and plotline, but it doesn't have to be that way, certainly. In a lot of ways, when you're playing World 1-1 of Super Mario Brothers, that could easily be a different story from playing World 1-2. Um, and Telltale in general should have just continued to try to experiment and change and evolve, I think, instead of becoming stagnant.
Beaten me to death
Almost.
right here in front of everyone. He wanted to. If Batman hadn't been there, I would be. Of course, the doctors aren't thrilled about me leaving.
Yeah.
My therapist is worried the drug might have caused some issues to resurface, make them unmanageable.
So yeah, his face would have been completely two-faced, scarred.
The board is losing confidence. Wayne Enterprises needs a new face.
It would be funny if this lady, Regina, actually plays a bigger role, but I mean, it definitely could.
In this building, it's important. I need you to be my eyes and ears.
All right, I can do that.
And see, that was like the only decision we even made with Lucas Fox. He disappeared completely from the episode.
You're a good man, Bruce.
I think you may have misinterpreted.
And see, that's not what I said.
Sorry.
Please, Selina, I have to tell you how I... Bruce?
And this isn't quite exactly how it went. I know. They're skipping over parts.
Come stay with me.
I'll think about it. Dropped your pen.
That's not.
I think it's time you knew my real name.
See, that's not what she said.
I am Lady Arkham.
And yeah, you really didn't have a choice at all as to whether or not you were going to attack the Penguin after that. You'd been drugged, and the story clearly says that. You do that. Now, in some Batman stories, there would definitely have been an argument that
You have to face the truth sometime.
that Batman is potentially
Retribution, Bruce.
exposed himself already to most drugs to make himself resistant to them. They're doing some really crazy things with the timeline too. Just look at like his 5 o'clock shadow. Like, is this days or a week later?
Oh God. What is this place?
Get up. Breakfast.
Okay, I'm up.
It's kind of interesting for Bruce Wayne to even say, "Oh God," like
For Christ's sake, put some clothes on. Doctor's making the rounds soon.
he's not particularly a
What doctor?
religious person, as far as we know. There is something that we should experiment with. We've had the minimal interface on, and we should show off what it looks like when the minimal interface is turned off, because that is the thing that puts the up and down Selina will remember what you said prompts. But boy, does this kind of change the whole way you play the game too. Yeah, I would say Bruce Wayne probably is
My blood?
not
It's mine.
very religious. Imagine
Arkham Asylum. This can't be happening.
in any kind of asylum, you're gonna get fairly used to inmates not wearing clothes. Of course, that's a great way to probably make yourself look crazier.
Looks like someone was angry. Lovely.
This feels fairly reminiscent to the... And see, you can still press the left trigger to highlight things you can click on. Fairly reminiscent to some of the sequences in Arkham Asylum, but Arkham Asylum just has so much better writing.
This can't be real.
And frankly, that really was a trick that could only have been pulled off once or twice in Arkham Asylum, and then it wasn't even tried in Arkham City, really. Apparently the door's not locked.
Better be decent.
You settled? Good. Anything you need? Water, piss, rat poison?
I've been asked for rope before. Not really allowed to give it out. Of course, I could make an exception for you.
You can tell me why I'm in Arkham Asylum for a start.
What, rich boy doesn't remember? Oswald Cobblepot? You beat him to a bloody pulp. Nearly killed him.
It's kind of funny
Why
that
did you hear?
Batman didn't kill him.
Any of this ringing a bell? Might as well get comfortable. This is your home now. Time to meet your neighbors.
There's only one bed in that room. Wow.
As you were.
Talk about corrupt.
Just like him. Your father ever tell you about me? How he sent me here? Left me to rot in this goddamn hellhole?
Oh, I see. That's why these people want to beat him up.
I hope to God there is a hell. I want your daddy to see what I do to you.
I am so sick of everyone blaming me for what my father did. I'm not him. Hurting me does nothing.
Maybe not, but you're the next best thing, Wayne.
So, yeah, I understand why these people would be upset. And interesting, we have like no QuickTime events. Prompts for that first sucker punch, which, that's fine. You really think, though, now is the time to potentially beat up somebody?
The welcoming committee has really gone downhill around here, hasn't it?
What the?
Rude! Churlish! Not nice! How do you like it? You are pathetic!
Who is this? Joker? I was not expecting to see Joker.
Buddy. Oh, buddy. Are you okay?
Well, in most cases,
So grand. More like the opposite. What would that be? Poor,
like,
perhaps.
in a lot of ways,
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I guess
You're
the
welcome.
Joker is in love with
If we don't look out
Batman.
for each other, who will, right?
Wow, it's really crazy.
What's going on in here?
It's like I told you, Doctor. These creeps were attacking the new guy.
Well, who did that? Was it you?
Of course not. It was mostly over by the time I got in. The new guy's tougher than he looks. Right, buddy?
Bruce, is that really what happened?
Yeah, sure, why not? Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what happened.
And see, it says at the top, they
No
will.
fighting policy here in Arkham. If you can't obey that rule, you're going to find yourself in hot water fast.
The orderly that was here before took money from these men and let them into my room. He gave them a taser.
I knew that you coming to Arkham could cause some excitement, but I didn't expect it to happen so fast. I'll do my best to keep you safe, but I need you to be careful.
See, this kind of sucks because this feels like this in
Nice guys gotta stick
this
together. Am I right?
Come to me if
episode seems
anything
going to be
happens.
focused around here.
Safe. And how do you plan to do that?
You're hardly the first patient in Arkham Asylum to be attacked. I'm sure we can figure something out. I'm Dr. Joan Leland, by the way, head of psychiatry.
Don't recognize
I'll be
her.
overseeing your case personally. We'll get you transferred to a new room, Bruce, one that doesn't have your blood all over it. For now, follow me.
I'm sorry, I don't think I ever got your name.
Me?
He's never given his name out to anybody.
What?
You just call him John Doe.
Bingo.
So it is the Joker, but you would only know that if you knew Batman. Otherwise, this would just be a weird-looking character. But how many people really are playing this game for their
John's
first
one of our most
exposure
improved patients.
to
He's been with
Batman?
us for quite some time. I'm sure he'd be willing to show you around. Right, John?
Oh, yeah. I'll show him the whole 9 yards.
Of course, the question here certainly would be,
Stay by his side for now.
There's not enough black tiles, you hear me?
this would be really funny if Joker already knew he was Batman when Batman hasn't even fought him.
Our last session was so enlightening.
That's good to hear.
And see, we get more
Your
prompts.
next evaluation is in a few weeks. I'm glad you're starting to understand yourself.
It'll also be funny if it turns out that Bruce Wayne is the reason the Joker is as crazy as he is. I'm walking further out to the edge and still running into some really glitchy.
Careful, Bruce. Some of these guys bite. You remember the first time you let me into the rec room, Dr. Leyland?
How could I forget?
You had to teach me how to play checkers.
Yes.
I imagine we can't
Betting
just...
patients to swallow game pieces isn't really how that's supposed to be played.
I suppose you can just jump through a window.
No, you need to let me go. I have to warn the president. You're trying to kill me. You don't know the president.
They don't like it when you try to use the phone.
That's because phones are for staff use only. No exceptions.
Then stop that guy from trying. Such persistence.
Would be funny if... It'd be funny if he actually
I'll come by to check on you two later.
does know the president.
About us, Dr. Leyland.
But kind of no reason for that.
Take good care of
See, this really is an example of something that could have easily been a completely separate story, where you just woke up in prison and got a announcer
Welcome to Arkham Asylum.
overviews Batman waking up and not knowing what happened.
Some of these people are crazy.
There's the gray guy.
But everyone's friendly, mostly. I'd watch yourself around those two. Not a big fan of strangers. Just a little bit, you know, prone to outbursts of violence.
What did they do?
There's Zaz.
Arkham, Bruce! Use that sick little imagination of yours. Murder, mayhem, carnage. The usual. Let's see. On the couch, that's St. Louis. Ooh, his favorite show's on. Never misses it.
I don't know who this is.
Friendo. Commercial break. Get up! Where is the remote? One of the orderlies must have taken it. Never fear, though. I'll go ask Leland. She likes me. Ooh, I almost forgot. Here.
What is this?
So, yeah, the minimal interface clearly is the right one to play the game as. It's barely any game at all. So, we can open the gate, we can talk to Billy, we can look at a chest, try and use the key. We have Arnold Wesker, St. Louis, orderly. Let's just start talking to people. Or look at the chest. Yeah, I imagine using the key will end the scene.
Wait, that's the move you're going to make? Huh? Yeah.
Just talk to people.
I'm not really crazy, you know, in case you were wondering.
Well, don't worry, I'm not crazy either.
Yeah, right. You wouldn't be here if you weren't.
Sure.
See, what's funny is he really could just show those veins and go, look, I was poisoned. So I wonder if Arnold Wesker is the ventriloquist or the puppet master, whatever that character is.
Hello? Go away. Arnold's busy. I swear, if you bother him, I will gut you.
What can you tell me about John Doe?
John? Nothing. I don't know anything. John? I love that guy. Makes me laugh.
This does really confirm a theory I personally have, which is in a new situation, the first person to approach you nicely is going to eventually end up being your worst enemy.
Think a freak with green hair would be pretty goddamn memorable, right? But yeah, nothing. Hey there, buddy boy.
Wow.
You missed me? I missed you.
However, the threat remains. The children of Arkham are still out there, and I will not rest until these streets
So I
are
guess
safe.
these cutscenes would just have him have the fake mask over his scarred face.
What's that? It's not right at all. At all.
You got a bad case of the mind knives. I can tell. I can tell. Just shove off, all right? No mind knives for me. I already got my shots.
I don't think that's really anybody. And see, this is an orderly.
Batman really did a number on this guy. Just let him be.
I don't think you can even talk to him. Let's talk to the orderly.
Sorry, I can't talk right now. Gotta keep my eye on this guy.
Let's see, and there's nothing here. And then here's Victor Zsasz, and we know he killed a lot of people.
Every time he cheats.
For every scar he has.
Mind control. Cheater.
I told you, if I could read minds, I certainly wouldn't waste my time on yours.
Nurse's station, cabinet. Let's just, I guess, talk to John Doe before we start trying to use the key all over the place.
My enforcement squad has already seen great success. They stopped a massive attack being organized out of a local SkyTrain depot.
Politicians usually bore me to tears, but this one...
And see, that's a lie.
This one has become a lot more interesting lately.
In my Gotham, no one's above the law, including Bruce Wayne.
And he's
After
basically
his
going to
vicious attack on Oswald Cobblepot,
turn
I
the
had
city
Mr. Wayne committed
into
to Arkham
a...
Asylum, where I hope he'll receive the treatment he's so desperate.
He's gonna make mobsters and gangsters work for him.
Two-faced. I thought you and the mayor were friends.
See, I have...
You were supporting his campaign. I saw all sorts of photos of the two of you together.
I wonder if maybe Joker is completely a hallucination here.
Right. This isn't gonna be any fun if you just sit there.
And you can see we're
In
just...
which Mayor Dent announced the creation of a special enforcement squad under his direct command to combat an imminent threat from the children of Arkham.
Rest assured, we will find these terrorists, their stockpile of drugs, and their leader, this Lady Arkham, before they can strike again.
Maybe he doesn't remember it's Vicky Vale.
Is good television. Mayor on a rampage versus freaky drug terrorist.
I'm gonna find your drugs.
I'm going to expose your corruption.
Oh my god!
Won't someone save my baby?
So I don't know if either one's a real response.
Tickets to this.
Like, there's two true things that could have been said.
Of Gotham Gazette reporter Vicky Vale after her mysterious disappearance earlier this week.
Very tricky, Vicky. I think we both know she's quite the lady, right, Bruce?
Wait, you know that Vicky is... Tell me what you know.
You want to find Vicky and her drugs, huh? Get your revenge just like you got your revenge on Cobblepot? Publicly and dramatically. Something entertaining for these newscasters to talk about. Ooh, I'd love to see that.
I'll find a way to take her down. But I'm doing it my way. Quietly.
Could
Yeah.
be interesting.
See, these whole he will remember that stuff really should be shown in some way, even in the minimal interface, without it just removing it completely.
Bruce, and I can tell there's something darker in you. When you attacked Oswald, I could tell you enjoyed it. If those cops hadn't dragged you off of him, that Cobblepot punk would be dead.
See, really, as a detective, if you're supposed to be the greatest detective, you should really just let him keep on talking.
Why Vicky hates you. Your dad helped bump off her parents.
Why would my father have the Vales killed?
I never said he killed the Vales. She was born in Arkham. Victoria Arkham.
What?
You didn't know that? The Arkhams did not approve of what your dad and his partners were doing. They were gonna blow the whistle on the whole thing, so your dad, well, pop, pop.
Oh, I thought he was saying that she was born in Arkham Asylum by some crazy parents, or people they had locked into Arkham Asylum.
Surely you can relate. Tragedy can drive people to do some pretty dark stuff.
Yeah, I can relate to that. Tragedy can be a powerful motivation.
I knew it. I knew it. Very good instincts on this sort of thing. You and Vicky are both dark souls.
It's almost as if he's from the future and he knows what's going to happen later.
Fantastic. You see, I know what you really are. And that's why I really want to tell you where Vicky's moved her drugs, but you're not going to do anything while you're stuck in here. So, I vote we get you out. How hard can it be? You're Bruce Wayne. The Waynes always get what they want. All it would take is a phone call.
Well, sure, but there's no phone.
Assume I can take care of that. But it's gonna come at a price. When I get out of here, you're gonna owe me a favor. Okay?
And this probably won't have to be paid back until the next episode.
I don't know what it is yet. But what's one favor between friends?
See, the right answer would be sure.
One favor, that seems fair.
Even if you're lying to him.
We'll have loads of fun. You'll see. All right, tell you what. I'm gonna make
Ironically,
to get the guards away from that gate.
You kind of, as a Batman fan, want to see the Joker escape,
That phone call, and I
so you
promise
can,
to tell you how to find those missing drugs.
so that you can then
Zaz. Hello, Zaz.
have the status quo reaffirmed and reset.
What happens if you make a tally mark before you kill someone?
What are you talking about?
No! No, I don't match him. Oh, God, I don't match! You can fix that right now. Skin feels like it's itching. Burning! Need to get rid of it! Stop! Someone give me a sedative! Run, Brucey! Run!
Let's use the phone. They got it under control. See, they got it perfectly under control.
Hello? It's you, sir. It's so good to hear your voice. I've been trying to contact you, but they wouldn't let me through. They told me you'd lost your mind.
Contact my lawyers. You'll need to post bail, but that shouldn't be a problem. You have got to get me out of here.
I'll see what I can do.
I have to go.
The other thing I guess we could have done is use Gordon there, and maybe Gordon.
I have not had this much fun in ages. Let me tell you how to find Vicky's stash of missing.
And it seems like this is going to be all of this sequence.
fails.
Quickly, come on.
Good luck on the outside, Bruce.
I just know you're gonna put on quite the show.
Again, this would have probably been a good sequence to have jumped forward in time and do a flash forward somewhere in episode 1.
Stabbings. One of the orderlies had a finger bitten off.
Let's see.
Doctor, I swear to you I was not involved in any of this.
We're going to look into it further before I feel comfortable making a decision one way or the other.
I think we probably should turn off the minimal
One moment.
interface.
Seems you have a visitor.
Potentially lying to her doesn't seem like it's going to really matter. And they didn't animate Alfred.
Bruce, thank heavens you're all right.
They didn't animate any
Everything
lawyers.
is in order. He is to be released into my care.
You may have the money to make this go away, but this is going to hurt you in the long run. What happened with those men in your room? The riot with Zaz? You clearly need help, Bruce. He needs extensive evaluation, treatment.
Dr. Leland, you know it isn't safe for me here. Look at what happened today. That won't be the last time.
That may be true, but I would never let that hinder someone from getting the help they need.
I'm afraid it's out of your hands now, Doctor. You have the paperwork.
Let's go, Alfred.
You could also throw her a bone and potentially say, why don't you come to Wayne Manor? Frankly, Bruce could use some therapy.
I will see you on the outside, Bruce.
I can't wait.
What's that about?
And the key basically played no role at all. So, yeah. That's another thing about these games is unlike a standard point-and-click adventure game where you would pretty much have to use every item you found to progress, here you can just miss entire sections and it doesn't matter because it never mattered in the first place.
The family lawyers were able to get you out so quickly.
No kidding. Batman's got some work to do.
Even during Batman's brief hiatus, Gotham has become that much more dangerous. And the public opinion on Bruce Wayne, well, it certainly hasn't gotten any better.
I don't care about public opinion. And neither should you, Al.
He needs Lucas,
But the more
too.
people call out for you to receive justice, the harder your...
He needs Lucas to look at the drug in his
Hello, Harvey.
in his blood.
You should have stayed in the asylum where I put you.
What do you want, Harvey?
The streets of Gotham are a dangerous place for someone like you right now. Well, you'll figure that out. Eventually. But by then it'll be too late.
They're only dangerous because you made them dangerous. Armed guards on every street corner? It's insane, Harvey.
I beg to differ. With the children of Arkham sneaking around everywhere, those armed guards are the only thing keeping
Yeah, he's turned Gotham into a police state.
haven't heard, but the children of Arkham have gone underground. Obviously plotting some sort of attack, and people are scared, panicking. I needed to show them that my resolve hasn't weakened, that Gotham is still strong. So I gave them an enemy. You and your family's filthy corruption.
This is probably the last time we'll actually...
Last thing I need is you traipsing around Gotham.
Would you listen to yourself? You sound insane.
No, I'm just a man who's done letting assholes like you run the world and take whatever they want. Can't let you keep running around scot-free, Bruce. It's the will of the people.
On a certain level,
Spare me your will of the people crap,
Harvey isn't wrong.
I was interested in Selina. What you did
That
was a low blow, Bruce. A real man wouldn't have done that. A friend wouldn't have done that.
Harvey, listen to me. I know what you think happened, but Selina and I are just friends.
Yeah, the only thing I did was kiss her back.
You're a goddamn
Which,
liar.
I mean, I could have not done that, I suppose.
Bruce? Bruce!
We're done talking. What's going on here?
So you have these like military style outfit.
Well. Bruce Wayne. You really must have done something to piss the mayor off so much, Maybe I'll get a bonus for this. Open the trunk. We're searching the car. If we find anything tying you to the children of Arkham, including drugs, weapons, or any other suspicious materials, you will be taken into custody.
I know my goddamn rights, and you better have a warrant to back that up.
Don't need one. Mayor Dent gave his enforcers full search and seizure rights.
Yeah, that's not constitutional.
Come on, what's the damn hold up?
Get back to your car.
Of course. Should have known. Go back to Arkham, you damn maniac!
The hell?
Careful, or you'll be the next Cobblepot.
Showing your face in public like this? Not real smart.
Let's just try not saying anything, because we're clearly
Nothing to say, huh?
clearly under the influence of the drugs still.
They should lock you up.
Oh, God. Alfred, I'm sorry. I don't...
You'll be fine. We just need to get out of this mess.
Nowhere to run, dirtbag. Next one won't be a warning shot.
All right. Now, the way I see it, there are two ways we can do this, Bruce Wayne. Either I let these people at you and see how you handle mob justice, or you could make a little donation to me and my boys to help us stay well-funded, and well-armed. What do you say?
They've got us blocked in. I can't back up. This is turning ugly, sir. What would you like to do?
The mayor's gonna hear about this, and it ain't gonna make him happy.
Hey, he's the problem, not us!
Back off, people!
Let's try and avoid conflict.
Innocent people to Arkham and make sure they stay there for the rest of their lives.
Keep back if you know what's good for you.
Here. It's everything I have, okay?
Sure, that'll work.
In a lot of ways, that just shows the people around him how corrupt these enforcers are. Like, I would imagine the citizens would not be happy about Bruce Wayne being able to just buy his way out of trouble. Apparently, Catwoman is at Wayne Manor.
What do you mean you're leaving?
Bruce, Harvey's clearly lost it. All over the news yelling about how you need to be brought to justice, throwing whoever he wants in jail. Not really interested in seeing what he
Very
has planned
rough
for me.
jump.
I was supposed to be here laying low. Does this look like laying low to you?
She's right. She should leave.
Don't look at me like that.
He's
My
a
mind's made
psychopath.
up. Don't you get it, Bruce?
But we
Harvey
didn't even
catching
have
him
a
in my
scene.
apartment drove him completely around the bend.
So you're saying you think his breakdown is our fault?
Yeah? Nothing even really happened. Not like he thinks, anyway. I'd rather not die for something I didn't even do. He's dangerous.
Hmm.
You understand, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
I understand. I don't like it, but I understand.
Thank you.
There definitely should have been a scene, at least one scene, where she moved into the Wayne Manor and he actually...
I got some other business I need to take care of.
What other business?
Look at yourself, Bruce. You're in no shape to take on Harvey. Or the children of Arkham, for that matter. Of course. That's my car.
So yeah, it doesn't even seem like it mattered if you had tried to end up with Catwoman or not. Obviously in year one, they weren't going to end up with you dating Catwoman. If they did, then they're pretty much going to turn the entire game into a dating simulator and then de-emphasize the rest of Batman stories.
I just need to get to the computer.
You're exhausted. And the influence of Lady Arkham's drug may still be affecting you. You've seen the way it's still affecting Harvey. He's a paranoid wreck.
Harvey is turning Gotham into a police state. Oswald has stolen my company, and we need to find Vicky and the children of Arkham before they strike again. I can't just ignore it.
He could definitely just have Alfred just scan for her.
Absolutely must get some rest.
Let's see, let's ask for help.
Then help me. Feels like the whole damn planet was coming down around me.
Of course I'll help. Let's start by addressing the problem at hand.
You're right. You're right. Let's just focus on getting my head clear first. Bring up everything we know about Vicky Vale's drug.
Yes, of course.
If I can isolate the presence of the drug, I should be able to synthesize an antidote.
Frankly, you should have been doing that several scenes earlier when we first got the drug. And there hasn't even been a thought about making an antidote until it infected him. Alright, well, let's start by changing the settings and just going back to minimal interface, because there's literally no benefit in not having minimal interface for what little the game gives you. And then let's use the right cursor to check the codecs and see what's been updated. So we get another addition, I suppose, to Harvey Dent's character, which is really just telling us the decisions we made. And yes, you could read this, but I imagine most players aren't going to read this. We are down to about 50, I think it says 56% of players have not made it to this point in the story. So barely over half. They didn't update this to say Lady Arkham or change her picture, which is interesting, but then you have a separate entry for Lady Arkham over here. And yeah, I don't know if these faces are supposed to be an A for Arkham. Is that what the spray paint is supposed to mean? Then we have John Doe. We also have updates to Gotham City, Arkham Asylum, which really they shouldn't have even bothered to have us show up in Arkham Asylum. That's about it. And then we can look at the feed. Out of Arkham in less than 48 hours. That's the first time we've gotten any real indication of how this timeline is going. But yeah, now they're just abbreviating Children of Arkham as COA, C-O-A. Apparently, Montoya went back to the Force. I wonder if that will play any role or not. We can't watch the TV feed. They didn't make any more news footage for us to see. Let's see. We can look at the back computer. Also.
Luckily, the Bat computer is equipped to fabricate a counteragent.
Yeah. It definitely feels like nothing would have changed the outcome to make Two-Face not be Two-Face. I've bent over backwards going with the bros before hoes mentality, which I wish there was a nicer way to say that. Not trying to date Catwoman, not trying to betray him, and it didn't matter one bit. The scene was always going to play out that way, and that's the problem with all Telltale alleged branching paths, is they end up pretty much in the same place. The Walking Dead games, I guess, do it a little bit better because they have that ability to kill off characters, whereas in a Batman game you can't kill off the Joker, you can't kill off Harvey Dent. That would be certainly bold if they did do that, but Warner Brothers would just never let that happen, and DC would never let that happen. So, yeah. And at a certain point, that really highlights why it was pointless for Telltale to even try and make a story that would have focused around the idea of Batman, because you're going to be so limited. You could have made a similar story to a character like Batman and just created a new character. That's what most comic book writers and creators want to do, is they want to create some new character that they own the rights to, although arguably their contracts or lack of contracts make it very easy for Marvel and DC to still claim the rights on any characters they make. But yeah, of course there's a lot less interest in playing a Telltale game if you don't have Batman's name on it. This is interesting too, because this drug molecule in the DNA, they're kind of implying that the molecule, the drug itself, is going to modify Bruce Wayne's DNA and like permanently affect him, where you could do that certainly, but then the way it's being depicted, the scale is wrong. DNA, each one of these balls on DNA and these connections in the middle and the connections on either side of them are molecules themselves, so this is actually zoomed out more than this would be.
This is the refined sample of the drug taken from
more than likely the drug would affect your blood chemistry or biochemistry. It's not going to change your DNA, although since this is a comic book logic and comic book science, maybe it does.
Here's my DNA before the incident. It seems that the drug attaches itself to specific proteins in the genome structure. If we can modify the drug's molecular structure, we should be able to create a counteragent.
Once you've figured this out, we'll have a working antidote. We can cure others affected by the drug.
No. I wish that were possible. This cure is based on my DNA. It'll only work for me. To cure other people, we'd have to sample and decode the genome structure for each and every person to make them an antidote.
That's crazy.
Don't have the time or resources for that.
We have a mini game here that seems like every control possible. Right bumps don't, left bump doesn't do anything, but right trigger and right trigger does. Are we looking to make connections here and everything, or are we looking to not make connections, or to make the fewest number of connections? Create an antidote, match the drug molecule sequence to the key image. Okay. But there's kind of no rotation here. And you have a cursor, I guess you can also use, but and you press any button wrong and it's gonna mess with your build.
That should do it.
For a Telltale game, that's surprisingly actually a video game element. But boy, was that really short. And if it took them this long, somewhere in the... Oh, are we in the 3rd episode or the 4th episode now, to create that gameplay mechanic, it doesn't really give us a lot of hope that we'd ever use it again, or maybe we'll use it once more. Whereas if this was a gameplay mechanic that existed during the time they were making episode 1, there definitely was a point where we could have done that same minigame a couple more times throughout.
This needs to be injected directly into the vein to work.
I don't imagine it'll be much fun.
And this is kind of like the Dead Space needle in the eye thing. Well, first of all, never inject yourself. That's silly. Second of all, you're going to have to find a vein, which I believe Alfred was in the war, so he's probably been given some basic training where he could at least tie a tourniquet and find a vein. Like, I don't see a vein there with this animation style. I guess you're just forced to push to the right with the controller. And it really is just a sequence of images. So if you press it at a normal pace, it will look like something's happening. But if you stagger it like that, it'll just go one frame at a time. At least until you get about most of the way done. And then...
Hopefully that does the trick.
Alfred should have injected that, definitely.
Feel better already.
So, what are we going to do now?
First things first, I need to know what Lady Arkham, has been up to while I've been away. Search for all children of Arkham recent activity. The press is reporting that Vicky Vale is missing.
Yes, and obviously the police have yet to find a body. That woman, trying to get the scoop on you, pretending to care. She betrayed you.
I wish things had been different. Maybe I could have gotten through to her.
You always try your best, Bruce. She had her
Like,
own agenda.
the only idea here would be that potentially instead of Vicky Vale,
breaking me down,
it would have been Catwoman that is Lady Arkham, or it would have been Jack Ryan that was Lady Arkham.
Bruce.
But we haven't even seen Jack Ryan in person.
Batman stopped her at the Skyrail station, and I can't believe that she isn't finding another way to use the drugs.
Well, if that's true, she may be more dangerous than ever.
I know. I met someone in Arkham who gave me a tip on how to find her.
A tip? Do you really think you can trust someone in Arkham Asylum? Offense intended toward your recent time there, of course.
He knew that Vicky Vale was Lady Arkham. No one else has that information.
I suppose that's not something we can ignore, trustworthy or not.
He told me
It's still pretty exhausting.
Planning, then I should visit her parents' house.
If the Vales still live in Gotham, they should be easy enough to locate.
Did they ever fix the bug in Wayne Tech?
Bruce?
Yeah.
If you do find Miss Vale, please, be careful.
Like, they kind of skipped through that whole part, so I don't know if the phones are still bugged. Man, this is a long load, too. That was a particularly long load. Yeah. Well, that's another episode where if you pretty much write off the whole seeing Joker and being in Arkham section, there's about 10 minutes of gameplay that we did at the front there. I definitely think it would be more interesting if you had more flashbacks and flash forwards where your decisions you had to make decisions not knowing what the story even was, and you just kind of had to randomly guess, particularly when you're playing as Bruce Wayne and Batman, because then you can 100% say, well, you should know who this character is to you, who this archetype is to you, and you should just make the decision in a vacuum versus having the writer write a story that might try and influence your decisions. In that case, I would have stopped the fight in the Arkham asylum and not made the phone call. But yeah, since I was informed by the fact that A, this is a video game and I really don't care about any of the people in Arkham or any of the characters in the game at all, and since this is also some kind of alternate reality of Batman anyways, where a lot of things have gone different, we might as well at this point start making Batman the real bad guy, or at least a different character from what you probably would expect him to be. Yeah, and I imagine with any luck, the next episode we will finish this entire episode. With the next recording, we'll finish this entire episode. Telltale Games were the things that had me have to learn to call the recordings I make recordings instead of episodes, because they have episodes. But yeah, I'm suspecting this is going to be really short. We're going to chase after Arkham. Maybe we'll end up fighting the Penguin instead of Lady Arkham, leaving Lady Arkham for the final episode, and we'll probably have to confront Harvey Dent and maybe take him out too. I wouldn't even be surprised if Penguin is actually completely missing from the story at this point and we never see him again, and we fight Harvey Dent in this episode and Lady Arkham in the final episode. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.